Hello, boys and girls of Cambridge School. It's so nice to see you all today. I can't wait to read my story for you. I know that your teachers have maybe told you that you will have a virtual author visit, and that's me. So, my name is Ashley. My full name is Ashley Green. My teacher name is Miss Green. And sometimes my students and friends call me Mindful Miss Green, and that's because I really love learning about meditation and mindfulness and also well-being. But my author name is Ashley Green, so I'm a teacher and also an author. Can you remember what being an author means? That's right, it means that I write stories. I have a friend who's an illustrator. That means that he draws the pictures to match my story. So, my very first children's book that I wrote while I'm still being a teacher was called The Emo Beans and the Feelings. I wrote this book because I think it's so important for very young children, all the way up to year 6, and even those in high school, to talk about the different feeling words and emotions that they experience. The more we talk about our feelings and emotions with people that we trust, that can help us feel more well. Because if you keep all the feelings inside, imagine that you were so excited, you might burst if you try and keep it inside without showing or telling someone how you feel. It's the same if we feel really, really sad. It's important to tell someone how we feel, and that can help us feel better. So, if you would like me to, I'd love to read my book to you, The Emo Beans and the Feelings. And I know that some of you have asked me some questions that your teachers sent to me, and I can't wait to answer those questions too. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Once upon a garden patch, there lived a lovely little group of beans. They lived at the end of a rainbow in a lovely village called Podville. But one day, a very unlovely thing happened. Podville was covered with nasty chemicals. Many of the beans withered and lost all their colour. After the terrible time had passed, the beans decided to make a change. They would take each day more slowly. They would appreciate the little things and talk to each other more, especially about their feelings. At Podville School, the freshly picked beans learned important things like how to love themselves, how to dance in the rain, and how to show gratitude for the gifts life sometimes offers, such as lemonade made from lemons. Every bean practiced mindfulness to help them be aware of how they felt inside and to notice the feelings of others. They started to understand one another in a way they had never before. It's okay to feel joyful, sad, disgusted, proud, surprised, angry, calm, or nervous. One day, a little green bean did something very brave indeed. Now that we have a new way of life, I was thinking we could have a new name for ourselves, it said. Emo beans. Every bean in Podville loved the idea, and the little green bean felt proud. One morning, the little bean woke up feeling very muddled. How am I feeling today? Everything is swirling around inside. What is happening to me? You look confused, said a passing runner bean. Maybe this is my confused feeling? Questioned the little bean. Come with me, said the runner bean. Let's visit the elder. After listening to the little bean talk about his swirling feelings, the wise elder said, It seems you have forgotten how to feel your feelings. The best thing to do for the rest of the day is to slow down and notice. Notice how you feel at different times and talk about it with the runner bean. Do come back and see me later. My insides are shaking, said the little green bean, and I'm thinking about running away. I'm scared I'll be the only emo bean who can't feel, it whispered. Well, you have started already, little one, said the elder with a smile. You have just described your fear feeling. As the little bean and the runner bean set off on a walk around Podville, lots of coloured jelly beans started dropping from the rainbow. Emo beans ran towards the bean shower, splashing in the jelly bean juice. "Come on," shouted the runner bean. "Let's have some fun." The little green bean had a fluttery feeling in its tummy and its legs would not move. "But won't the jelly beans hurt me?" it asked the runner bean. "No, the jelly beans burst like bubbles when they touch you. Don't be nervous." "Ah, that's my nervous feeling," the little green bean thought. After a while, the little green bean did not feel nervous anymore. They saw a broad bean sitting peacefully with its eyes closed. "It's meditating," whispered the runner bean. "Sometimes that helps you feel calm." So the little green bean tried, and after some time noticed that inside it felt still, peaceful and glowy. "Ah, that's my calm feeling," the little green bean thought. Continuing on their journey, the pair passed the harvesting patch, where the older Emo beans would pick the little beans that were ready to join the others in Podville. When the little green bean saw the baby Emo beans open their eyes for the first time, it felt a sense of warmth. A smile came across its face and heart. "It always makes me so happy to see the new Emo beans join us," said the runner bean. "Ah, this feeling is my happy," the little green bean thought. Nearby was a garden bursting with blooming flowers and vines. A few Emo beans sat peacefully in its centre. "Are they meditating?" the little green bean asked the runner bean. "They are reflecting. Maybe they are thinking about Emo beans that aren't here anymore. You see, when an Emo bean withers, it goes back into the soil in that garden." The little green bean felt tears in its eyes. "I know it's sad," said the runner bean kindly. "It's okay to feel that way." "Ah, this is my sad feeling," the little green bean thought. The little green bean picked a yellow flower from the garden. "Hey, don't pick the flowers!" a loud voice shouted. The little bean spun around and saw a red bean whose eyebrows were pointing down. Its frowning mouth was in a tight little line. The green bean felt its cheeks go red and an exploding feeling in its chest. "Sorry," the runner bean said gently. "The little green bean did not know not to pick the flowers. Come on, little bean. Don't be angry at the red bean. I think maybe it's hurting inside." The little green bean felt different now. "Ah, that was my angry feeling." "Oh, runner bean, I feel so grateful from what I've learned from you," said the little green bean. "Now I understand all those emotions that I had been confused about before." The pair went back to see the elder. "You see," it said, "sometimes we just have to stop and spend time in the feelings to recognise them." Behind the elder, the little green bean noticed a photograph in a gold frame. "That's me!" it shouted. "Ah, yes," said the elder bean, laughing. "That was the day you named us Emo beans. How did you feel that day?" "Proud," said the little bean, giggling as it remembered the feeling of a full heart. For the little green bean, joy felt like warm sunbeams bursting out of its heart. It felt bubbles of excitement bopping around in its tummy too, as a party on the patch was about to begin. When the little bean arrived, all the other Emo beans in Podville shouted together, "Surprise!" The little green bean felt its insides jump and its eyes opened wide. "We are celebrating you remembering your feelings again," said the runner bean. "Ah, this is my surprised feeling," said the little green bean with a laugh. The little green bean felt truly grateful at the party, singing, dancing and laughing with all the other Emo beans. The Emo beans continued to learn more about themselves every day. Remember, it's okay to feel what you feel, and it is important to talk about your feelings with someone you trust. The next time you pass the end of a rainbow, look closely. You just might see Podville and a little bunch of Emo beans dancing in the rain and singing in the sunshine. Now, you might have noticed some of the words in the book were different colours. In the book, you can find these words on the very back page. And when you look for them on the back page, you can match them to the colour, and they can explain what these words mean. You can learn about what feelings means, gratitude, mindfulness, meditating, reflecting, emotions, and trust. I really hope you enjoyed this story, boys and girls, and it's been so lovely to read it to you. I hope that you enjoyed listening to my story just as much as I enjoyed writing it. I'd love to hear what you think, so do tell your teachers and maybe they can pass it on to me. One of the first questions that someone has asked me is, what inspired you to start writing books? Well, actually, I always really loved writing, even from year one. I was always writing little stories, and that continued as I got older. But even as a grown up, I loved to write. I loved to write in my diary, in a little journal. But something that I always wanted to do was to try and make a difference in the world. So even though I was a teacher, I learned some more things at university all about well-being. And I thought one of the best ways to share these things I've learned about well-being with children is to write a children's book. So that is where my inspiration came from. Children just like you. This is a great question. Why did you choose to write the story about the Emo Beans? Well, it took me a while to think about what I wanted the characters to be like. And I really love emojis that you might see on Seesaw or in your iPad. When you're typing, you can click on little emojis and they express emotions. At first, I wanted to have little characters called little beings, but then I thought actually that sounds a bit like beans. So they became emotional beans, and then I called them Emo Beans for short. And I just think they're really, really cute. When did I find my passion for writing? Like I said in one of the other questions, I think the passion for writing has always been there. But what I realised was when I was writing stories about something that I really loved and really cared about, then the passion just became even bigger and bigger and bigger. So whenever you're doing writing in school or when you're doing writing at home, write about something that you really love, because then all the other things just fall into place over time. So my passion for writing was when I was really young, but my passion got bigger as an adult because I was writing about things that I just love, like Emo Beans. Who is my favourite character from the book? I actually think the little green bean is my favourite character, because that little bean experience is something that we all experience. Sometimes we're a bit muddled and we don't know how we feel. But what's so lovely about that little bean is it's very brave. It decides to go on a journey and really learn more about the emotions so that it can continue to go through life and recognise all the different emotions. The runner bean is a close second because it's such a good friend to the little green bean. But I definitely love the little green bean. It's so cute and it's very, very brave. How long did it take me to write my book? That's a great question. I had the idea in the back of my head for a few months, I would say. And when I sat down to actually write the story, it maybe only took me a few hours because that was just my first draft. So it took a few hours to write the first draft, but then after that I would go and read it again, check for any spelling mistakes, check for full stops and capital letters, all those things, and then I would have a second draft. I would also ask someone else to have a look at it to see what they could see, if there was any mistakes or anything they might change, and that's called proofreading. A bit like your teacher does with your writing. Sometimes they give you it back and then you can work on some things after that. So all in all, I would say the whole story was ready to print in the book after a few weeks, but the actual story itself, the first draft, took a few hours. When did I write my first book? Well, I think probably my very first book was round about FS2 or year 1. So that just means that if you're in those year groups, you can write books. If you're in year 5, you can write books. It's up to you. You can write books at any age. Although I think the first time that I have written a story and written a book that's been published was just recently, and that's when I was 34. That's a very good question. What was one of the most surprising things I learned about when I was writing a book? Probably that I could use all of my character strengths when I was writing the book. If you think about the character strength of creativity, I definitely needed that one. And also the character strength of perseverance. I had to keep going to make sure that I finished the story, had a really good draft of it, So yeah, that I could use all my character strengths was something I learned about writing a book. Also, I learned that I really do love writing books and writing stories. I knew that I would love it anyway, but I didn't realise just how much I would love it. So that was actually even more surprising. What do I think makes a good story? There's so many different things to choose from, and different stories are good for different reasons. But to me, one of the most important things that makes a good story is that it has something you can learn from. So, like in the emo beans and the feelings, we learn that it's okay to talk about our feelings with someone that we trust, and I think that's pretty important. It's so hard to choose from all of the wonderful books out there, but one that I really do like is The Day the Crayons Quit by Drew Daywalt. If you haven't read it, you should. It's very, very funny about all the crayons that go in a mood with their owner Duncan. I also really, really love Julia Donaldson's book called Monkey Puzzle. And the reason I like that one just now is because my little niece, who lives in Scotland, she's just a baby, she's been reading that book with her dad, who's my brother. So that's another one of my favourites. Boys and girls, I have loved speaking with you today, and thank you so much for your gorgeous, clever questions and for really enjoying my story. I hope you liked it, and I'm glad that some of you are going to have your very own Emo Beans book, and I will try my best to sign it for you too. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and thank you so much for being here with me today. Bye.